Hello everyone. Today I have a very exciting topic for you, which is on butterflies. Most of the learning I will discuss is based on an actual observation me and my son did on at least 20 butterflies. So let us start this amazing investigation experiments with facts on butterflies. Do you see something pretty sitting on the flower? Yes, it is a butterfly. You know, butterfly is an insect. Not all insects can fly, but butterflies do with their wings. Among insects, they are certainly the most attractive. They come in so many beautiful shapes, colors, and patterns. Look at these colorful butterflies. Butterflies are important components of biodiversity and play a key role in food chains of several ecosystems. Birds, reptiles, and other animals eat butterflies. The pretty colors on them warn other animals not to eat it as it may have poison in its body. There are other ways butterfly uses to stay safe. Have you noticed the big spots on the wings of some butterflies? The circular big spots look like a big scary eyes and it keeps hungry animals away. Butterflies are pollinators of flowering plants, and their presence in the area are good biological indicators of environmental health. Butterflies are on a constant lookout for flowers. They drink nectar from the flowers. A butterfly's tongue is like a drinking straw. Do you know how butterflies tell if a flower tastes good? It uses its feet. A butterfly's taste buds are actually on its feet. Where are your taste buds? Butterflies have a short lifespans. Small butterflies like blues may live only for few weeks, while larger butterflies like swallowtails can live for months. There are about 18,000 species of butterflies in the world, and India has more than 1,500 of them. Now, isn't that exciting? As curious kid, my son used to ask, where do the butterflies come from? Where do they build their nest? As he grew older, he learned that butterflies undergo complete metamorphosis in four distinct stages. He could hardly believe this. How different the caterpillar looked as compared to pupa or the butterfly. He thought that if he could see so many butterflies, the pupal cases or the chrysalis from which they had emerged must be somewhere around too. So he decided to keep a close watch on the butterflies visiting his backyard. He noticed that the lemon plant and the curry leaf plant in the backyard attracted many butterflies, like common mormons, lime butterflies, and common yellow swallowtails. He learned that butterflies actually lay eggs on one or few select plant species like lemon plants and curry leaf plants. Now he was sure that the butterflies were visiting the plants in the backyard to lay eggs. So we started the butterfly egg hunt. After keeping a close watch on every branch and every leaf of these plants for weeks, at last we saw a butterfly eggs sticking under the surface of a leaf. They were laid singly, and each one was perfectly round and tiny enough to fit a pinhead. My son Rohan kept his eyes trained on the egg laid on the lemon leaf. After about 4 days, we saw a very tiny caterpillar, almost too tiny to spot. In few days, it had grown a little bigger and looked quite like a bird dropping with a white spot in the center. We placed this caterpillar carefully in a ventilated box and we decided to raise this tiny creature and understand all that we could about its life. In the next few days, it had grown to a centimeter long. We took care to replace the old leaves of lemon plant on which we had found it with fresh ones and cleaned the droppings in the box regularly. The caterpillar's color slowly changed from dark brown to leaf green with a false eye spot visible on each side. It had turned into a eating machine with strong larger jaws. It demolished every leaf which was placed in the box. My son took to books and found out that the caterpillar's body grows rapidly, but its skin does not grow at the same rate. Hence, it shed its skins or molts. This happens 3 to 4 times during its development, and each stage between the molting is called an instar. It had now grown almost 4 centimeters long, with 14 sections, including head, clearly visible. It had 3 pairs of jointed legs and 5 pairs of unjointed legs called false leg or prolegs. Once, when we tried to touch it, it curled backwards, and from behind the head popped a bright orange V shaped organ, which gave out very pungent smell. We found out that this was a protective adaptation, and the organ was called osmatrium. All swallowtail caterpillars had this defense against predators. After 6 days, the caterpillar was no longer feeding or moving. It had anchored itself using its last pair of false leg onto the box. Its head was bent and it had started spinning threads of silk around its body. For next 10 hours it was in this position, motionless with its head down, and its color had now changed from bright green to dull green. Something very strange happened next. The skin split at its head and the mouth parts were discarded along with its skin. The body had shrunk. Within minutes, it transformed into a chrysalis or pupa, bearing no resemblance to the caterpillar it used to be. We could hardly believe our eyes. The pupa now appeared almost lifeless and inactive. We waited patiently for the next 10 days and did not notice much change in the pupa. Then, one very early morning, we noticed it had turned darker and we kept a close watch. In the next couple of hours, we saw the most fascinating sight, a butterfly emerging from the pupa. As it turned out, it was Rohan's favorite, the common lime butterfly. Its wing wet and shrunken, the butterfly rested, hanging at the end of its empty chrysalis. After an hour or so, it started flapping its wing, which were drier now. We left the box open near the plant. A minute later, with one strong flap of its glorious wings, it took its first flight into the natural world, disappearing right in front of our eyes. Rohan was speechless and looked up to the sky to thank the Almighty for its precious experience. Never will we forget the feeling this moment had left us with. How many long and difficult changes it took to turn into a beautiful butterfly.